Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to unpack a massive topic, what your York Region home is actually worth. We're tossing out those automated, shot-in-the-dark online guesses, and we're diving deep into the real, boots-on-the-ground market context that genuinely drives property values. Let's get right into it.
So what is your home actually worth? I mean, it's literally the ultimate question for any homeowner, right? Whether you're just casually curious, or maybe you're actively thinking about upsizing, downsizing, or refinancing, this question is pretty much always top of mind. But here's the thing, the answer is rarely as simple as you might think. It's incredibly localized, and it depends heavily on what the market is doing right this second. Let's look at a basic online estimate versus a really thoughtful, comprehensive valuation. An online estimate? Well, that's just a computer making a blind guess based on super broad data. Seriously, sometimes those algorithms are so off they think your backyard shed is a third bedroom. On the flip side, a true valuation looks at your home in the actual context of the York Region market. It takes into account your nearby competition, the condition of your property, and that hyper-local buyer demand that an algorithm just can't see.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll go beyond the online estimate. Then, we'll explore York Region's luxury neighborhoods. After that, we'll uncover the hidden drivers of value, and finally, we'll wrap up with how to actually plan your real estate move.
All right, Section 1, Beyond the Online Estimate, the starting point.
This quote right here really hits the nail on the head. Online estimates can be helpful starting points, but they do not always capture the full story of a property. Relying solely on a computer model means you are totally missing the localized context of your specific, unique home. Think about it. An algorithm hasn't walked through your front door. It hasn't seen the amazing natural light in your kitchen, and it definitely doesn't know if your layout flows 10 times better than the house down the street. It's a starting point for sure, but it is absolutely not the finish line.
Moving into Section 2, York Region luxury neighborhoods, or what we call the macro influencers.
York Region is basically defined by these incredibly diverse luxury communities. We're talking about places like Aurora, King Township, Newmarket, Ridges and Richmond Hill. Now, each of these specific zones harbors its own totally unique buyer demand, and what buyers are hunting for in these areas, it's incredibly distinct.
Just look at how drastically a specific lifestyle shifts a home's baseline value here. Take King Township, for example. It's all about that equestrian lifestyle and those sprawling, private, rural estates. But then you pop over to Ridges, and buyer demand there is totally fueled by nature-connected living right near Lake Wilcox. Newmarket draws its value from historic luxury pockets like College Manor and Fairy Lake, while Aurora is famous for its prestigious estates and highlands. The takeaway here? Your home's value is deeply, deeply tethered to these specific lifestyle identities.
Okay, Section 3, Hidden Drivers of Value, the Micro-Influencers.
A real true valuation is a strategic process, kind of like putting together a giant puzzle. Step 1, you don't just review what is recently sold, you have to look at what is actively competing against you right this second. Step 2 requires a really honest assessment of your property's condition, its layout, and any upgrades you've poured money into. And finally, Step 3 evaluates the hyper-local demand of your exact street or neighborhood pocket at this very moment in time.
So the absolutely crucial thing to remember is that a buyer isn't just buying a house, right? They're evaluating your specific school boundaries, the lot size, and they're looking at your upgrades to see if they actually add value. Because, let's be real, not all of them do. Buyers are heavily influenced by your timing, your presentation, your pricing strategy, and the overall confidence in the market when you decide to sell. These micro factors are the secret sauce. They're what turn a generic estimate into a precise, pinpointed market value.
Let's jump into Section 4, Planning Your Real Estate Move, Myth versus Reality.
Is an online home value estimate the same as a formal appraisal? We hear this question all the time, and honestly, it is vital for your financial planning that you understand the difference. People conflate these two things way too often.
And the answer is, definitively, 100% no. An online estimate, or even an in-depth real estate valuation conversation, is a fantastic planning tool. But if you're dealing with lending, legal matters, tax purposes, or you're trying to secure a mortgage, you absolutely need a qualified professional's formal appraisal. Never ever mix the two up when you're laying out your serious financial plans.
Now, here's another massive worry people have. Do I have to list my home after requesting a valuation? A lot of homeowners in York Region are just casually contemplating their options, but they hesitate to ask for a valuation because they're terrified of getting some high-pressure sales pitch. They're thinking, If I ask what my house is worth, am I suddenly committed to moving?
Let's go ahead and put that myth to rest right now. No, getting a valuation is simply about planning ahead. In fact, many homeowners request this kind of info months or even years before they ever make a real decision. It just gives you clarity. It lets you plan your renovations carefully, review your timeline, and confidently decide whether you actually want to upsize, downsize, or maybe just stay right where you are.
So if you're ready to move past the algorithm and get a genuinely accurate picture of your property's worth from an expert, what do you actually need to provide? How can you help make the process as accurate as possible?
Well, the more specific context you provide, the better and more strategic the discussion is going to be. Obviously, your address and property type are the starting point, but you also need to detail the approximate size, the exact lot characteristics, and any recent upgrades you've made. Even things like your basement setup. Is it finished, unfinished, is it a separate suite? And your parking situation can drastically alter the final number. And maybe the most important piece, sharing your general timeline. This allows the valuation to account for seasonal market shifts, which are a huge deal in real estate.
I really want you to take this quote to heart. Planning before you sell can protect your position. Having a robust valuation conversation helps figure out which improvements actually matter, so you don't end up flushing money down the drain on renovations that won't give you a solid return. It's all about making sure your next step is meticulously mapped out long before a for sale sign ever hits your front lawn.
Ultimately, navigating York Region's incredibly diverse and dynamic real estate market really demands this kind of careful approach. As Jonathan Colford from eXp Realty Brokerage puts it, the goal is calm, relationship-first real estate guidance. It's about looking at your unique lifestyle, your specific property, and your personal timeline, rather than just crossing your fingers and letting a rigid, automated algorithm dictate the future of your largest financial asset.
So as you think about the future of your property, I want you to ask yourself this final question. What will buyers compare your home to the hour before they walk in and the hour after? Understanding your actual localized competition is the true key to unlocking your home's worth. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Now get out there and look beyond the number.